Good morning and welcome to another Lightroom tutorial. I always say I'm going to try to make these quick and I'm really bad at that, but I am going to try to make this one quick because we're just going to deal with the end result of some lighting on this butterfly. So this is my edit to date, and this is kind of where I had ended. Now you can see here, I'm going to go back to the final. So just moving from this to this, I felt finished this image off. It made the butterfly pop. It works with the lighting that was naturally there. Up here you can see I did drag in an M mask here, just a linear mask to kind of show off the light that was there naturally. So all we need to do here, and you can do this with any subject, an easy way to do this is I created a radial gradient and just kind of dragged it out around the butterfly. You can move it around. Now you can move this gradient. So would be a more solid look to whatever you apply. I went all the way down so that this effect is rather soft. And then we just brought up highlights a little bit. So already you can see butterfly popping just a bit. Maybe just a little bit of exposure. I usually try to use things like whites or shadows to be a little more subtle. Now, one thing here, I felt like I call this the underskirt, these under wings here. And you see I had already done a little sharpening there. But I am going to bring up some shadows, and that's going to just make this little orange part here pop a bit better. And then I may just go in. Now this is where you can just try all different kinds of effects. May just bring some texture in. You can see the clarity is actually even giving it its own pop here. So be careful what I don't want, right? We don't kind of want this weird spotlight effect where only this portion is highlighted. And if you like what's happening to your subject, you can always just work and shrink down and change the form of your subject. But that, to me, that's just it's a little too much light. It doesn't look natural. So, and then I'm going to come up here to temperature and just give it a little pop of gold, like the sun was there. Now, this is still just a little bright for me. But again, you can just keep working that. But those are essentially, I might just bring down that exposure. So this is how, you can finish some of your images and just really give them, and you can even bring this down and move that light source. So it's maybe a little more on the subject, and now maybe this got a little white. So just keep making your adjustments until you're happy. But that's a really easy way to go about it. Now, another way you could do this is by just bringing in, you hit K. You could just draw like this, but I feel like using a radial gradient in this particular case is you have more control, which particularly I like when trying to filter in things like light and maybe some sharpness. And there was a few things we needed to do to that. So again, here was the no spotlight, as I call it, and then here is the final. And you can see here again, make sure you're using your snapshots when you're progressing through an edit. I think it's really helpful. So I actually was able to go back to show you this is where I started and here is the final. Now, if I submit this to anything, a competition, to a magazine, wherever I might want to send it, I will go ahead here, add a snapshot and say, garden and gun, something like that. And then hit create. And now I've got a version that I know I sent to someone. Now for competition, I find this particularly helpful because if anyone comes back and requests a raw file, you will have the exact image and file to send, so you are spot on perfect what you send back into that competition. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, always reach out.